In here today, this is the Board of Directors Planning Meeting for Friday, December 5th. I ask everyone to please silence their cell phones. Roll call, please. Cindy?
President Jay Gustafson.
Here.
Vice President Cindy Webb. Here. Director Treasurer Steve Loeb.
Right here.
Director Mike Abramowitz.
Here.
Director Debbie Guy.
Here.
General Manager Richard Dingus.
Here.
We have quorum.
Great. Golf Superintendent's Report, David.
Yeah, so some dates we have coming up. The Niners Red Green event is next Tuesday, the 9th. And then we have a Superintendent's Revenge Tournament that we got going on this year. That's going to be Friday the 19th. That's all the events we have this month. And then I put our aerification dates for next year. February 19th is a solid time. And then we'll pull cores in the summer, May 7th and September 24th. The course will be closed for one day for all those ones. As far as the weather goes, we're currently in a drought and it seems to be getting worse. I have 1 inch of rain since September 1st in 3 months. And we're going into our drought season, so that's not a good way to go into it. So a lot of outskirts of the course are a little bit dry, especially where they don't get great irrigation. For example, that left side, car path edge on 17 rough there over there, it doesn't get great coverage, so you'll see some areas like that. We've been trying to do our best hand water in those areas when we can. And we're also trying to hand water all these trees that we've been planting since they're not getting any rainwater. Those ponds are very low already this time of year. They're going to get worse. I would anticipate there's going to be a lot of water restrictions in the next couple of months, probably in the spring, March, April, when we get up to there. But luckily having that well is going to be critical that we have that backup resource planned now, so that'll be good. The seed on the course, we put the seed out in November. It's not as dense as I would hope for yet. We haven't had a drop of rain since we put the seed down, so we've just been relying on the irrigation water. We might get some rain this weekend, so hopefully it'll thicken up a little bit. As far as the course goes, greens are in pretty good shape. Again, putting green and 3, those ones are always show a lot of stress this time of year, so we put out some extra potassium once a month now to try to handle that stress a little bit better. And then we got the seed on the course, like I just mentioned. The seed on the tees went out a week prior, so that's a little denser, a little thicker than it is in the fairways, but give it some time, it should thicken up and look a little bit better moving forward. As far as our employees go, we haven't had any turnover. Our crew's been steady over the last month. We did get Big Mike back though from his surgery, so he's back. He's got no restrictions and he's been working with us over the past week and a half, I believe. As far as projects go, we're in our winter maintenance mode, so we're not mowing like we are every day in the summer. We're doing a lot of detail work. We're doing tree work. We're elevating the canopies of the trees, getting all the moss out of there, just kind of going through them since we don't have time to do that in the summer. Trimming up everything, all the landscape areas, freshening those up. We did all that pine straw. We did a truckload of pine straw this past month. It's not even enough to do the whole course, but it's able to do a lot of it. We try to just get the worst sections of it. And then a lot of edging and painting this time of the year. So we edged all the cart paths, bunkers, irrigation heads, valves, everything. We're gonna go through and edge it all. And then like we've been talking about, the tree replacement plan is ongoing. 30 more trees got planted in the past month, so we're just doing our best to try to water them as often as we can. As far as golf course equipment goes, those irrigation boxes should be picked up next week. We get those out of there. We got 5 pallets of those boxes sitting down in our shop, so that'll be good to get that out of there. That's all I have for this month. This is my final board meeting. So March 2026 would have been 6 years that I've been here, believe it or not.
Wow.
Time flies, but you guys made a positive impact on my life and I appreciate it. So I believe that I impacted Timber Greens in a positive way as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, David, and we wish you the best of luck too.
And I'm gonna cry.
Any questions for David?
I just have one question, David. Later on, we're going to be talking about putting down some covering or some rubberizing, like we do on number 6 on several ponds here. Is that a good idea, or is it something that prevents us from doing maintenance, like for killing algae on holes number 12, between 14 and 16, hole 16, and things like that. What's your opinion of that?
You want to make them light?
He's talking about putting pond liners in. I don't want to cut David short, but I called our pond company yesterday. Number one, it has to be approved by Swift Mud. You said you have about a 1 or 2% chance of getting that approved. Number two, if you put a liner in with water and you get in a drought situation and the water evaporates, it becomes a liability, because if someone hits a golf ball in there and they try to walk on a liner, there's going to be pretty slippery and it's more trouble than it's worth. But he said basically at the end of the day, besides the tens of thousands of dollars that it would cost, Swift Mud he's pretty sure would not allow you to do that, because these retention ponds are put in a space that they're supposed to gather the water, and then the water has to refill the aquifer, and that's what they're used for. And if you put a liner in, it prevents them from percolating, and therefore they serve no purpose. So Swift Mud's pretty much not going to approve that.
Even though the pond would be retained the water most of the time though, right?
Some of the time.
Some of the time.
It's, when you get 93 degrees and high humidity in the summer with no rain, the water's going to evaporate. If you have a swimming pool at your house, people that have pools in here and it doesn't rain, they're filling their pools during the course of the summer.
I brought it up because several golfers have asked me about that.
I know it looks bad when the ponds are dry, but it's pretty much Mother Nature. We really can't control that. But that's a nice solution, but it's probable but not possible.
And the reason we do have the one line on number 6 is because we refill that daily with the water and that.
We have to have water because that's how we irrigate the golf course.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. David, good luck to you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you, David. All right, we're going to move on to the general manager's report. Mr. Dingus.
All right, we're in the midst of season, and November added to our financial position by being better than planned. By the board of directors signing the Spectrum agreement this year, we're also not having to use $25,000 of the door fee to offset what the fee would have been without the contract signed. Those dollars are left for the board to use as possible future projects that are not budgeted for. Spectrum does continue to move through the main community and will probably be in the main community through the first of the year. We'll discuss that later when we get to Spectrum on your agenda. The fitness room new bike was ordered and should arrive next Monday or Tuesday. We also ordered a coat rack / accessory rack to hang up on the wall. We'll be doing a cleanup, move some equipment around for a little more space. Major Projects has 2 bid for the spa resurface and hope to have a 3rd by their meeting next Wednesday. The new barcode reader that we had discussed last month at Royal Oak was installed. Also, we worked on the timing of the closing of the entrance gate to make it a little bit shorter. Some residents were saying that it was open too long, and a lot of tailgating was going on because of that. Signs have been ordered for all gates and the clubhouse to comply with the new open carry law and our restrictions for that law. Spectrum was to bore the pipe at Misty Meadow Loop for our irrigation this week. That got pushed back to next week because they're falling behind on their project. The poles for the hitting nets were ordered, will arrive on Monday hopefully. The rest of the project will be completed after the December 16th club fitting. I still have no date yet on the asphalt cart path repairs on hole 6 or the replacement on hole 17. I did complete the yearly audit for sales for our insurance. We should get back the results just after the first of the year. The fence work at the tunnel was completed last week. The Coquina project for pool parking is being completed today. And no word back from the attorney yet on the widening of the Starkey Road project, but we will be getting something hopefully before the end of this month, and then the board can proceed. Everything else is on your agenda. I also am not doing the architectural report today. We're creating a new form like the one that you guys saw at Timber Pines, and we're going to put that in the green scene every month, and it's going to be updated with the monthly and yearly. So starting in January, it'll have all the violations for the month and the year, and then the year will be added onto each month after that. So We will get current on that. It'll go in the green scene so everyone can know who had, or not who, but what the architectural violations were and what to watch for.
Okay, any questions for Mrs. Dennis?
I had one question that came up to me by a golfer, and we revamped the restrooms there in the golf course, and he asked, how come we didn't consider, or did we consider urinals in any of those places, those two places?
We did not consider them due to the cost of changing all the plumbing in there. We literally just replaced everything new with what we had and resurfaced the walls and the floors.
Right. It would just make it, his opinion was that it would make it cleaner and quicker and so forth and so on. And it was never in the design, was it?
No. I'm not sure how much you go to this men's bathroom here, but the floor by the urinals is way worse than where the toilets are. Nothing personal.
Nothing about anybody's name.
I guess it's an English.
It's an English. Okay, thank you.
We're going to move on to the board liaison discussions. I'll start. So entertainment's meeting on the 19th, golf advisories meeting on the 19th, and major projects is meeting next Wednesday. Cindy?
Communications and marketing meets next week. Helping Hands met this week. We had a really interesting program. A woman from the animal shelter came and talked, and she was fascinating. I wish more people had been there, or we had been able to record it, because it was a very interesting program about how they operate and the many good things that they do. They're not a kill shelter, and all the kind of ways they help the community in ways other than just picking up strays and helping out with food, dog food, and supplies for needy people and things like that. It was very interesting.
More supplies would be good in my box.
And Jane would like to pitch for her box, which is there, which was always taking sheets and blankets and dog toys and dog food and that kind of thing, and that all goes to the shelter. The other thing was that the health fair was very successful, and all of the vendors paid $30 to have their booth there, and that money went to Helping Hands, and that was divided between Volunteer Way and St. Vincent de Paul's food pantry for food insufficiency, and that came to, well, they'll each get $400 as a result of that. So health fair was great for the community, and it was great in another way too. So kind of what went on this week.
Great. Steve?
CERT meets next week, next Tuesday. Finance meets next Thursday. Both of those, one's at 9, the other one's at 9:30, I think. And planning did not meet. They only meet as needed, so they haven't been asked to meet or solve any problems. So they're good to go.
All right, Mike, architectural planning?
Architectural met on this past Tuesday. We had 5 requests and 5 approvals for changes to people's homes. Also, I'm going to ask under new business, make a motion for Wednesday's meeting to add Mike McNeil to the art committee. Right now we are down 2 members. So Mike McNeil is going to join the committee. So I'm going to ask for approval for that on Wednesday's meeting. And then we have some discussion down and some new business about art to talk about then.
Okay, Debbie?
Mike, what's your meeting Wednesday?
Well, it's the Wednesday's meeting. After we have this planning meeting, another planning meeting, and then the final board meeting at Wednesdays, when I would make the motion.
What time Wednesday?
It's at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Okay, Debbie?
Yes, as Cindy mentioned, Pat Cassidy did a great job with the Health and Wellness Fair. They had 32 vendors, and since Health and Wellness doesn't touch money, they did donate that to Helping Hands. So that was super cool. Pat is stepping down as of February, so they're going to be looking for somebody else to pick that committee up and run with it. She's done a great job for the last 6 years. House beautification is meeting as needed. welcoming. They're having their annual welcome of the new residents on February the 19th. There were 3 closings in November. One of the closings was an existing owner. Only one new resident was welcomed in the month of November, and that consisted of a package. There were not any meal voucher certificates issued from the Women's Club. And that concludes my reports.
Okay, great. Moving on to unfinished business, hitting nets update. Mr. Diggins, you said they're going to start on 12/16, is that what it is?
The fitting day is the 16th. It'll start after the 16th. The poles are scheduled right now to come in Monday. So the poles will be installed next week. And then as soon as the fitting day is over, we will tear apart what's there and then start around up.
And the goal is to have it done by the end of the year?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
For Christmas.
All right, great. Club renovation update. I'll just give everybody an update. We basically met with the architect. We did a tour of two HOA communities, Timber Pines and Heritage Pines, just to take a look at, the architect that we're working with basically did a lot of the work on those 2 places, and really gave us some ideas about what we could possibly do with this community. Right now, the architect is going to be providing us kind of a vision of what he sees that we could possibly do, and from that point, I think that's when the board will kind of get more involved in looking at, what kind of a project we want to start with, if we want to start with one, and so forth. So we'll have more information probably by the beginning of the year, is my guess. So.
I just add to it, it was interesting because number one, it was designed to look at, but there were also a lot of functionality features that he has put in place in some of the facilities there too that were kind of impressive to consider too. So it was an informative day.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It was an informative day, and he was also going to provide us with a quote, I think, for the renovation in the main hall,
Yeah.
as far as our air conditioning and the tiles.
Yes.
And to get that started as one of his first things to do.
Okay. Spectrum Fiber Project update, Mr. Nickus?
All right, as I said in my report real briefly, they are still in the main community. Phase 1 is complete with the install of the conduit. Phase 1 is basically Scenic Pine Court and Spring Meadow all the way to the back gate. What they're working on now is Veteran Circle all the way back around to the front gate, and then Oakwood Hills Court and that side of the street. I expect them to be in the main community at least into next year. The fulfillment group that's going to come in as early as next week based on their supplies, they're going to be the ones that will take the fiber from the pedestal to the home. So that will start in phase 1, which again is Scenic Pine Court and Spring Meadow all the way to the back gate. I don't know how long it's going to take them to do that. We have had some issues, obviously, when you're going in the dirt and digging holes, you're going to hit things. There was one sewer pipe that was hit, one water line that was hit. We've had about 8 or 9 sprinkler heads that have been hit so far. I got an email this morning at 2:34 a.m. Thank you, Mr. Wolf. Got a crack in the driveway over on Whispering Meadow, so I'll go look at that after the meeting. But they are 100% totally committed to taking care of everything that they have done. Mr. Johnson, if I don't get that check today, the Timber Greens will reimburse you, so you get paid for the out-of-pocket for the plumber that you had to bring in. Anyway, that being said, the fulfillment group that is going to go from the pedestal to the homes bluntly said in the meeting, we are going to hit sprinkler heads, things are going to happen. There are no plans for where the sprinklers are. They don't have, you can't do locates and find out where sprinkler heads are. They're only going to go 6 to 8 inches deep. They're not digging, they're just literally parting the sole and laying the fiber from the pedestal to the home, but they will hit sprinkler lines and they will repair everything. So we encourage greatly, after they've been at your house, within the next day or two, run your irrigation to make sure you have no leaks in it, because it's going to happen. Right, Mr. Honeysett?
Yes. And I just, well, as I say, on the day after Thanksgiving, when this happened Wednesday night, and we had a huge hole. Mr. Dana took it on his own on that Friday to get some help. I think Jay, you asked me. Big Mike came over and spent an hour and a half or 2 hours fixing that. So thank you. We were concerned because we're in a village, so I either had to get it fixed before the next irrigation run or shut off the water so that nobody got it. But they stepped in and got it done. Thank you.
Also, the reality is this, that when they dig a hole, they have to dig up the sod and then they replace it. We're in a, as David said, we're in a major drought right now. A lot of times you're not getting water from the county to water your yards. If the soil or the sod that's replaced does not grow back properly or it dies after the fulfillment stage, after they go from the pedestal to your house and they're done with any digging or anything in your yard, then they're going to come back. We're going to walk every home in here, and every place that needs sod, they're going to bring in however many pallets of sod we need, and they're going to replace all the sod. That's a guarantee. That's not even a question. So don't get too upset yet, because the sod is going to brown up. You can pretty much go through the early ones that are done. Some of the sod came back pretty well. Most of it has not. But all that sod will be replaced. I meet with them every day. They're very reactive to what we do have to say and getting things fixed. So it's going to be a lot longer than we thought it was going to be. We signed the contract in June. It's going to be the end of the year here pretty soon, and they're not even finished with the main community. So we still have conservation, we have Royal Oak, and we have wilderness to do. So they're going to be in here a couple more months. And then as we get more information, we will put it in the weekly flyers every week of where they're going to be. But once they start doing the fulfillment stage, we will let each homeowner know that they're going to be going to your house. They're not coming in your house. That's the last thing that happens. But they're going to be taking the fiber from the pedestal to the house. We will let everyone know that they're going to be in their yard and to check the irrigation the next day. So it's a very time-consuming process, but it is what it is.
Okay, great. 2 points on that one. When's the start date for the second phase? I know you said it, but I missed it.
Second phase they've been doing for 10 days.
Okay, so that's already started where they're doing.
You're the second phase.
No, I meant
The fulfillment?
fulfillment.
That's supposed to start, it could start as early as Monday if they get their supplies this weekend. They don't think they will. They expect the supplies the first of the week, and as soon as they get the supplies in, they're going to bring some supplies out here and they will start the next day. They're going to start on Scenic Pine Court and they're going to follow around just like they did the digging and do all of phase 1. And they're not going to start phase 2 until phase 2 is completed with all the conduit being laid.
The second question is, if the owners watered those areas, would that help?
Yes, of course it would.
Okay.
Any water you can put on the sod that's been taken out and replaced is going to help.
That'd be from their potable water or what they have out of it.
Well, they obviously could try the reclaim first.
Oh yeah, some of the houses could do that, but they don't have that luxury here in the village.
Yes, they can put any kind of water they can on it to help save it.
Okay,
It's
thanks.
going to be stressed out till it catches up again.
Just for clarification though, we're not activating, we're just going to the houses with it, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we're not getting, you won't be hooked up to fiber optic immediately. We're going to wait for the project to end and then they activate everything. Okay.
There's a possibility that when they complete the main community here, that they may activate the main community before they hit the other phases, which is Conservation Drive, Royal Oak, and Wilderness. So the main community may be activated, which means the techs will start coming to your house and hooking up the boxes and doing all of that. But we will know in advance of that. have
So
not-
they are gonna activate then?
No, they may.
May, okay.
After they finish the community, they will make the call whether to activate or not. They were here at 4:15 this morning, finishing the pedestal in front of the clubhouse, and the clubhouse can be activated now as early as next week, I was told. So we may have it in the clubhouse as early as next week. If we do, the communications committee, which has a meeting on Tuesday, I believe, will discuss training in the clubhouse for people to use their Zumo boxes and their remotes and everything. But we'll get that information out if and when it happens.
So it won't be,
Nothing is guaranteed right now.
so once they hook it up, say to a house, that won't be activated that afternoon?
No.
And will be phase 1 activated, then phase 2, then 3 or 4?
They haven't made that decision yet. They're talking about activating phase 1 and 2, which is this main community,
Right,
but they haven't made the decision yet.
okay.
Is there a target date for that at all?
No, they have no target dates, obviously.
Is there a master schedule anywhere, Rick, that shows what they're gonna be doing and when, and so you can actually track that? I mean, I've had experience doing major projects, so I know that's what we created, was like a master thing that would say, I'm gonna do this on these dates, and that way you could see if they begin to slip, you knew exactly what areas, and of course it would help to notify the community too. And I realize we're doing that when they're coming into an area, but just from an overall control expectation meeting standpoint.
We
is there a
have a map of every phase, and after they did the initial where they could not run the fiber through the existing conduit, they gave us an updated map of where they were going to dig in phase 1 and phase 2. They haven't gone to 3 or 4 yet.
But there's no dates, no.
No, there's no dates on
established
it. They have no dates. They will flat out tell you they have no dates. They have every day, a crew is considered 2 people. So they have between 1 and 4 crews in here on a daily basis, allegedly. They have not had 4 crews in here yet. Generally, they have either 2 or 4 people working.
Dana, if they do have dates, they're not sharing them. I would imagine they do have dates for this project.
I just know from an overall
Yeah, with
major
you.
project management standpoint, that's not the way to run a business. You can't do it that way. But if it's being done, I mean, I'm not, other than the committee I was on initially, when I was selected, but if I were in charge of this, it wouldn't be that way.
Right.
Wish you were.
Well, just
I think
to
they
your
do have
point,
dates
Dana,
that it's
there's
not shared.
nothing going on by them being slow, besides them taking their time and doing things properly, what we
Right.
want done. It's not hurting the community in any way. The cost is still lower. They're abiding by the contract that we signed, so your cable cost for next year, as Jay announced at the budget meeting, is going to stay the same. So the community is not incurring any financial loss by them not getting done in the timely manner that we would like to have it done. And you're not going to notice anything in your service, because we're up to, I believe, 1,000 now speed. So when this comes in and goes back to 2,000, and 99% of the people here aren't going to know the difference anyhow. So we're really not losing anything in the community. They gave us the money already. Our cable fee has not gone up. So yes, it's like waiting for your present at Christmas. You want to open that present, I get it. But you know, I appreciate the fact that they're taking steps, communicating with Mr. Dingus to make sure things are done properly and accurately, one time and one time only. So,
Unfortunately, because of that, it's just extremely time consuming on us, because it's every day and it doesn't stop. It's every Monday through Friday.
Right.
And the faster they're done, the faster they get out of here, and that'll be a very happy day.
It's just, again, from an overall major project management standpoint, I can appreciate the fact, Mike, we're not losing any money and things are going ahead. But to keep things on track and on schedule, that's not what they told us. If you go back and look at the meetings we had with them, we were supposed to be up. By now, we were supposed to be up.
Right.
And we're not even halfway there yet. So and I realize it's not costing us anything or anything else, and that's great, and I'm glad the prices have gone down. I'm just talking about from a project management perspective, it's just,
And what you just said is something that we know that we can put in our back pocket, that when they are done, we can maybe ask for something different, a little more, because they were delayed in the
Right.
schedule.
Yeah, if it's their fault.
A good point that we have noted already, and we look forward to that in the future.
you know,
But it's not the
people
mindset they operate under.
Absolutely.
You know, what they tell us is it's their project, they're running it. And obviously, you know, we were all in the meetings where, you know, they promised us everything, okay? And are we disappointed? Yeah, we are. Is Mr. Dingus all over them? Absolutely. I mean, we've had meetings, we've pulled him in, to talk to him. You know, it's interesting with Spectrum. It's like they operate in separate silos. It's like they don't communicate and with each other's departments and stuff. So it's a little frustrating. But I think we've got some traction now. I mean, I think it was a delay for about 3 solid months where we didn't hear anything.
Right, yeah.
And now it's starting to pick up. And I think that senior management, especially with the subcontractor, there's a lot of visibility on it now. So I think we're going to get some more
And I
traction.
think after that board meeting, whatever it was, a month ago or whenever that was, I personally can see a difference in the way that people are in here. And so that helped a lot, I think, and Rick, you did a really good job of, I think, helping them understand that we got to move this along.
Did we ever have Mr. Johnson call or do anything related to?
Mr. Johnson's been called, he hasn't returned any calls.
Okay, thank you.
Let's move on to the spa resurfacing. So we have 2 quotes, Mr. Dingus, on
We
that?
have 2, they're trying to get another one before Wednesday, and you'll be at the meeting on Wednesday. They want to give a proposal to approve this month to have it done.
Okay, great. And update on the pickleball sound screen. We're in December now. We're past hurricane season officially. So where we stand on that?
I'd like to table that till next Friday.
Okay. The number 3 Whole Pond.
No update on that.
Okay. And fitness center. So
We ordered a bike. We took one of the ellipticals out that wasn't being used to create more room. We're taking the table out. We're taking the sign-up sheets out. We have a coat rack and an accessory rack that's going to go on the wall so people can hang their coats and put their phones up and whatever. And we're had a discussion about also taking out one of the treadmills that's never used and really needs to be replaced anyway, and creating more space in there. I believe Alan is ordering today more, what are they, dumbbell holders?
The rack, the weight rack.
That's a wreck.
The dumbbells that go in there.
I think you're talking about us.
It's not rather personal.
Anyway, yeah, we're doing a lot of things in there. We're going to hold off on any painting, carpet, and all that until the architect gives us an update on what he would like to see in there. So there won't be any construction going on in there, just people working out with decent equipment and some new different things.
Great.
Did we consider anything like a cubby hole thing where you could put your phone in?
That's what we're talking
That's
about.
what he's talking about on
It's
the
already
wall.
ordered, yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So you can hang a coat and keys and spot to put your phone.
Pasco County traffic control on.
Can I say one other thing?
Oh, sure.
And then we're going to line up some, for everybody who's making their New Year's resolution to get fit, we're going to have somebody come in and give some training in the fitness room for a couple of times and walk you through machines and different ways you might exercise your body, so.
Great. Pasco County traffic control. is the
No
next.
update.
No update. Okay, and we discussed the coquina shells are going to be completed today. Irrigation on Misty Meadow, they're going to run that pipe next week for us,
As of right now.
as of right now. The asphalt repairs on number 17 and near the 6th, there's no date as of today.
Nope.
Tree plantings on the golf course, how's that coming along?
The 30 trees have been planted, so that's a good thing. Good. We'll work on some more, hopefully before the first of the year. I guess in our interviews, we should be asking the superintendents if they know how to plant a tree.
Golf cart registration process. Cindy, was that?
Yeah, I think Rick had something on there.
So this is in regards to anybody that doesn't pay trackage fees that drive golf carts around the community. We wanted to be able to identify those golf carts and those users and just make sure that you sign a waiver stating that you're properly insured or you accept liability for anything that happens. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is just rolling out this process at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I think this form's been approved, hasn't it?
Yeah, we already did
Yeah,
that.
so the forms are ready to go.
So are we doing stickers or what are we doing?
No, we're not doing
We're not doing
stickers.
stickers,
We
okay.
just have a form that's filled out in their file.
No charge?
By lot number. There's
No
no
charge.
charge for the non-golfers, that's correct. And it shows up on the point of sales when they sign in to play golf, whether they've paid trackage or not. So if they have not paid trackage, they will pay a cart fee, whether they use their card or one of ours.
Right.
So how do we identify those that don't play golf? And we would want them to sign that. It's free, by the way, folks.
Yeah,
There's
we'll
no charge.
send out a flyer.
We can also have that online, just like we do electronic voting or
It's a good idea.
the surveys, and people can just do it online and you'll get a electronic signed copy of it if you want.
So it's voluntary or is it mandatory?
I think the board is saying it's mandatory. So we'll just start putting that education out there. If you have a cart that you use and don't pay a trackage fee, you still must register the golf cart. We'll do a nice flyer next Wednesday for that. And we'll start communicating that out. It'll be in the Green Sea next month, la-di-da-di-da.
It'd be very hard to enforce if it's not like a sticker or something when you say.
Was that the issue? Was it the cost? I know, previously on the carts, we used to do a thing every year that would say that, you see some carts with that on. Was it a cost issue? Is that why they stopped doing that or what?
We talked about it.
Why did we stop the stickering process? It was before my time.
Just because of cost.
Cost.
And it was in the point of sale, so it was kind of redundant. Originally, it was used for if like the ranger was out there and someone gave them a hard time, they could just look at the sticker and then report it to the golf shop. It was lot 421 or whatever. But the need for that just kind of went away due to the cost escalating. We were paying over $800 a year for the stickers.
So if it's mandatory, how are we going to enforce it? If you don't have
It is,
stickers?
it wasn't discussed as mandatory, Steve, you're correct. Before, when we discussed that form, we're going to ask all the residents to stop in, and Sandy would get the form out, and they would sign it, knowing that they had to get insurance or they accept responsibility. And that's all it was. It wasn't mandatory. We were trying to get the information out and get everybody to sign it. It was mandatory for if you had trackage. But now, if we're talking different now, if you're talking it's mandatory for everybody, yes, that's a whole different subject.
I'm not talking about it, I'm just asking the
Right,
question.
that's what I'm saying. We're all talking about making it mandatory for everybody. There's no fee, there's no penalty, so I don't know why we should just ask the residents who have a cart to come in and please sign the form like everybody else. But if we can't track it, there's no penalty, I don't see what the point is in trying to make it mandatory.
All right, we'll circle back on that one. Okay, so is there any other unfinished business? No? Now let's move on to the new business, the guest entry process for golf. Mr. Dingus?
Community Patrol and I think the board received a letter about actually making our entry process a little better. The golf shop has been working with Community Patrol to generate a sheet every day with with tee times and names. Obviously, it's never going to be complete because if a person calls for a tee time for a foursome, most of the time they don't know or won't give the names for the other three. So their names are left blank, but the one name is in for the tee time. The sheet that I have here for December the 5th, which is today, shows all of the tee times for the day. Colony Cove is a group, they never give us names on that, but they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tee times. So when they come in, they ask them what their purpose is to come in. If they say they're playing golf, what's your tee time? And they give it to them and they check it off on this. Ryan is trying to put it into Excel. He's having a hard time downloading this to get it to Excel so they can also put the license plate on the same form so they don't have to have a different form. I followed someone in maybe Wednesday or Thursday that was a golfer and they were taking license plates, so they have upgraded their policies. They had a staff meeting this morning at 8 o'clock. I wasn't able to go in there, but I will find out later what all they discussed. But most of the information in that letter is being discussed, and we are putting a lot of it into action, and they're trying to be a little more, I guess, responsible about who they're letting in and who they're not. So it's a good thing to get that back on the books again. We are working on different policies, and I'll have the board approve those when we're finished. They were supposed to work on those this morning at their meeting.
I had a test of them yesterday where I had a vendor come in, supposed to look at my floors, and they called me before they allowed him to come in. So I was very pleased with that. That's a big improvement. Normally they just let the guy through no matter what. And so I was very pleased that they did call me because I had neglected to call them.
Okay. So we'll hear more on that.
I can give you a bigger update next week.
Okay, let's do that.
To see what they discussed in their meeting today.
Okay, great. The next item on the new business is the nominating committee update. So I'm heading the nominating committee for the board. We have 2 board opening positions for next year, and so far we have 3 candidates that have surfaced. So, any questions from the board on that? Okay. Arc change, Mike, tree line plantings.
All right, I sent out the information to everybody. Mr. Wolf, sent back some questions we can discuss and hopefully get your answers for you. In the ARC manual, it states for tree lawn. Now, just so everybody's clear what a tree lawn is. The tree lawn is the section if you have a sidewalk in front of your house and where the road is. There's usually a small section of grass there. Okay, that's what a tree lawn is. And right now in the ARC manual, it states that no trees or shrubs are permitted on the tree lawn. But we've had now, with the fiber going in, a resident across the street that they put a fiber box, a node box in on the tree lawn section. Most of the past existing nodes that were in here are not on tree lawn. They're on people's property on the other side of the sidewalk, and in the past they had allowed plantings around these nodes there. This is a unique circumstance. I don't expect too many residents to have a node on the tree lawn out here. It is unsightly, and she asked to put plantings around it. So the ARC committee had to deny it because of what it states in the ARC manual. But yet they are sympathetic to her and her situation because the way it looks and the way it may affect some other residents in the future. So they decided to propose a language change to the ARC manual to allow residents who get that situation, which I think it's going to be, it's not going to happen very often, if any, but to cover up the unsightly box that just sticks out like a sore thumb in little section of sod there. So that's what the language change that I passed out to everybody. The change is going to read that no trees or shrubs are permitted on tree lawn, with the exception be made for shrubs or bushes planted concealed utility boxes, provided they are not taller than the box or wider than 2 times the width of the box. The homeowner is responsible for trimming and maintaining the plantings. So their thinking is, and they want to be proactive to the community, and that we'll let it conceal it. We don't want it to take away from the view, so it can't be higher than the box and 2 times wider than the box to cover it up from the site. And they have to, homeowner, if they decide to put an application in, it gets approved, they're responsible for maintaining the plantings. So I'm open for the questions, suggestions from members.
Cindy?
Can we just do it as an exception for that one? I mean, that's probably the only one that's going, she doesn't even have that much room to plant around that, where it's located in a really awful spot.
Well, I think that's what's happened in the past. There's been exceptions and things done, so now, 10, 15 years later, not just
I mean, can we
circumstance,
name
but
that address as the exception, or change
they
the
We need
rule?
to wait till they're finished,
Yeah,
because it's probably not going to be the only one.
okay.
So, I mean, we'd like to have it in writing.
Yeah, no, I
Because
understand
there's
that.
been verbal exceptions in the past for different things, and then
When people plant around them in
people on
their,
board come over and look and say, well, this is what it says here.
Yeah.
Well, so-and-so 10 years ago
Right.
got it. So I think that that's what we're looking to do, is just black and white and for people, so there's no...
and if I want to landscape one around my yard, I still have to put in an ARC request to do that, right? So that would follow some of the same
Still the
criteria.
same procedure, yes.
Yeah.
Are there any standards for that? For if you have planted in your yard? Not in the area that you described, the lawn area. But what if they have one, and most of them will be in their yard, and they want to cover it up? Is there a standard that they have? In other words, you said no, double the width, same height. Is that standard in the architectural manual or not?
Yeah, you can't have a fence, and landscaping can be no taller than 6 feet tall, and they have to give a proposal to what they want to have approved, and the committee either approves it or doesn't.
Okay, what I'm asking is, the committee have a standard?
It doesn't have to be a rose bush, or it doesn't have to be a whatever. If they put that they want to have it covered up, a utility box or a pedestal or whatever, they have to submit it to the architectural committee, and it's either approved or not approved.
Well, you know, we had the architecture we went around with at Timber Pines and so forth, and he had in his mind what the community should look like and so forth, and he's the one that finally decided if there were any questions, not the board. He's the one that made the recommendation to the board whether it shouldn't happen. But he has standard that he lays out when he does that overall for the entire community, and it seems like the architectural committee should have a standard for these. I gave the committee, the board, pictures of ones that were around my neighborhood. Some of them were 7 feet tall, some of them had trellises in front of them. The boxes were completely exposed in one of them, and even though they had a bush all the way around 3/4 of it, it just seemed like the others were completely wrapped around. I don't know if you can get to the other question. So are they considering certain standards like that for everyone, even if you're not in this tree lawn area, but for everyone that wants to cover their box up?
There's no standards, it's what's in the manual. So if somebody has some on their property and they would like to cover it up and put plantings around it, and then they would fill out the application, turn it in. As long as it's harmonious with the community, they will approve it. There's some things that you can't put in, it has to make sure it doesn't block the view of other residents. You have to follow the same guidelines. But no, there's no black and white standards. You got this, this, and that to do, and that's all you have. No, it never has been, unless you want to change the whole.
Well, they had their personal opinion. That's a standard, even if it's not written down.
Okay,
Said it has to be harmonious with the area. Who says what's harmonious and what's not harmonious?
That's what the committee does. That's their directive and their interpretation. That's the way it's always been. It's nothing new.
I know, and I'm saying it's all over the place now. There's different things at different properties. Anyway, will this be professionally done or not?
No, this is up to the resident. The resident put the request in, and if it's approved, then the resident will
So the resident can go out and dig his own hole, get electrocuted, whatever, not call 811, you know.
That would allow everyone to have something different too. Probably ought to be a standard for that one of our contractors implements, so that if you're gonna do 10 of them, they're all the same. But I have another question. Why do they put them in a tree line? Why do they put them in the yard in the first place?
Can't answer that question, but it's there, and
To the utilities easement, they had to put it where it would best fit. And this is in a villa, generally that has a sidewalk, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Most villas do not have sidewalks. It was in the model home area over here across the street. So it's in an unusual place, but that's where everything fed to. It's in the utilities easement, that's where they tied into it.
I have a question. How many of those are in right now? That was a problem. So that box was not there for 30 years, correct? And
it's just one issue right now.
Okay, so the question is, why was it put there? Was it easier for them to do? Did they give us a plan A or plan B for choices?
No, it's in the utility easement. They don't have to give us a plan. They put it where it's best, where it's easiest for them,
Where it's easiest
where
for them.
everything comes in.
Well, how come they couldn't put it, I'm confused. If they worked 30 years ago, all we're doing is a fiber. What's the difference? What's the change? The box? It tied in somewhere on that property before.
The coax was just a cable going through. The fiber has to go into a pedestal and be spliced in. So it has to be above the ground. And it's in an unusual situation where these villas are over here.
Have you talked to Jose about this? We haven't talked to, I personally haven't talked to him. So to your point, Rick, maybe we can table this to next week's meeting. And next week, will you talk to the project manager, Jose, to see if that box can be moved off that tree line? And that would solve the problem and solve the resident from planting something on there. So
There's not even much space to plant around. I mean, where
there is not. She's not.
Yeah.
I forget what she was going to put around there, but yes. So maybe we can talk to Jose and get a better answer of why we can't move it, or if we can move it
after the meeting.
Okay.
See, the reason why I brought that up is because it's going to happen again. And before that box was installed, if it's different, that's not what was in the contract, it's different. So he should actually call Rick, because Rick spearheading everything, am I right? He should call Rick up and say, listen, we're gonna have to do this, because this, the way it was 30 years, is not gonna work. So before we put the box in, we wanna make it work. So now what we're doing is we're chasing our tail again. So
we'll just
direct contact has to be made with Rick if there's gonna be a change. So Rick's aware of that.
Not necessarily it's a change, Rick, because they put it in because it's easier for them. They're not aware that we have rules and regulations that we probably can't plan around. So I think if we educate them and tell them that we like to keep the tree lawn area like it is, and then see if they can accommodate us. And go
Yeah,
from
that
there.
makes sense.
Let's do that
Let's
then.
just
I'll
wait
be
on
discussing
the
next
week,
week.
see what
Right,
happens.
he's
Can I just
texting
say
Jody
that-
here, so.
On Wood Hollow Court, and unfortunately the Cassidys are involved with all of this. On Wood Hollow Court, they were marking this past week. The guys are great to work with, and Dave is learning Spanish so that he can speak with them. We are going to, it's the curb and then the grass. They are going to put one of those boxes right in the middle of my lawn, adjacent to the curb. So we were just, and you know my husband, but so he went out and he said, this is going to be this green thing sticking up. I probably am going to be allowed to put something around so that I don't have to look at it, but from the street, it's going to be there. He said, couldn't you move it over a little here or a little there? And it's all about the electric and the wiring and the optic, and the fellow that was doing, I guess he's a surveyor, explained to us that this is the way it has to be. So the issue is, we're not going to be a tree, whatever you're calling that strip of land. This is now going to be the curb, the grass, and it's going to be right next to the curb. So you can't plant anything in front of it. You can't put vines on it. So I think it could be an issue all over the community.
There's existing
Only
boxes
for the
everywhere.
villas.
Say what?
Only for the
For the
villas.
villas, right, and he
You
explained.
have such a small front yard anyway, and there is a utility easement there.
Right.
And they're gonna put the utilities the easiest place that they can put them.
Right, and that's
I will
what,
discuss with him, and the guy doing the locates, I don't know why he would know where the pedestal would go. That's not his business.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you.
I'll talk with
yeah.
Jose.
So the
guy doing
markings.
the locates is not saying where the pedestals are going, that's Spectrum.
He's just marking it, right?
Yeah, he's just marking where all the utilities and everything are. Just because it's marked there, and if they're able to use the conduit that's already there, they're not gonna dig anything in your yard except when they go to your house. And they're not gonna dig, they're just gonna park the ground and lay the fiber. But they're digging in probably, I'm gonna say 40% of the yards, maybe a little bit more, because they were able to use more of the conduit in phase 2 than they were in phase 1.
Right.
And that's gonna vary based on, because it's been there for 30 years. They can put the fiber through the conduit, they don't have to dig. They just have to dig around and change out the pedestals. But everything has to be marked in every yard out here, whether they dig or not. If you ride Country Ridge over there, there's probably, 1,000 flags out there and
Yeah.
markings? I mean, they're everywhere. That doesn't mean they're gonna dig there, and that doesn't mean they're gonna put a pedestal there. They will put pedestals where, for the most part, the existing pedestals are. But if it is at a villa, like I said, you don't have much of a front yard. You're attached, so they're going to be closer together. So we will, if it's going to be in the front yard, I'll check with Jose and like Chirillo's in her tree line, because that was model homes, so they had sidewalks over there. But the rest of the villas don't have sidewalks.
No.
So
My point is that.
it's all on an individual basis.
That pedestal is going to be right up against the curb, which, that's the way it is. I mean, that's it.
I'm
Is there any
not sure
option
that's
for-
true, but I'll follow up on that.
Let's just follow up with Jose, and then let's discuss it at the next Friday's meeting, okay?
Is there any option for
Just a quick-
underground installment?
Quick point of reference.
They're all underground.
Obviously, it's something you're showing, it's pedestals showing.
Yeah, that's right.
So those pedestals negatively affect the property value of the eyesore. So is there an option to have those locations installed underground with a lid like our water meters for sprinkler systems or otherwise?
Ken?
That's what they seem to do in my house, because they're worried about running a line from my pedestal to the other side of my house and having to go underneath the driveway again. They put one of those in-ground boxes on the other side of the driveway, so they can dig a trench now to that side of the house, as opposed to, so I don't know, it might be a question to ask them. In my case, they're not putting a pedestal there, they've already got the little, box, like you're saying, that they use for the water companies and all that kind of stuff, so maybe check with them.
There's always a plan A and a plan B, there's always easy and hard. It's a matter of them contacting Rick before.
I'll
they
ask
do
the
that.
question.
Yeah, let's see, for some reason
And
now.
I'll answer your question too.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll get more information by next Friday. The next one on the new business is the arc change to accommodate new fiber boxes.
I'm not sure what that is. That's the same
It's all the
thing.
same
Same
thing.
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 Yeah.
Scratch that.
Okay, scratch it. All right, and we discussed the lining of the ponds. Volunteer Appreciation Night. Cindy?
That is January 22nd, and we do this each year to recognize the volunteers in our community and the fact that that's what makes this community run, and other than our general manager. But a lot of people lend a lot of hands, so we'll celebrate those people on January 22nd, and Debbie and I will work on putting the program together for that night.
Great. Any other new business topics?
Yes.
Yes.
I got mailed the retainer for our attorney, it's $300 a year, so that needs to be approved.
Okay, that's a
So he's
motion.
our attorney of record.
It's not in the budget,
It's $300, yes, it's in the budget.
then it's already approved, isn't it?
Well, you have to sign a
Sign it,
retainer, it's a
sign a
legal
retainer.
form that you have to sign. Yeah, the money's in there, but you still have to sign the form.
So what, it has to be on,
You have to approve it as a motion. That they're the attorney of record.
Can we discuss the Granger engagement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
you all got a copy of that?
yes.
And you got the second copy. The second copy, Cindy asked if there'd be a penalty, and there is a penalty clause in there now. It says it's $250 a day for every day he's late past the filing date of the taxes, which is April the 15th. And
And is that the same as what it was in the past?
that's what he charged in the past, and we saved over $8,000 because he was late last year, and $8,200 exactly is the exact amount. He didn't bill us the full, I think, $17,000 or $18,000 that he gets paid for doing that. And he said, no, I'll take my penalty and go with it. This year, there's also, in addition to a penalty for not meeting that deadline, there's also an incentive if he makes it before the deadline. So in other words, if he filed ready to go on March the 30th, there'd be an extra $32.50 that he would charge us because of the incentive. If he has it done March 1st, then it's another $6,200.
So I guess, I'm not well versed on audits and stuff like that, but aren't we hiring him to get it to us by a certain date, and that should be part of the contract? I mean,
It is.
why are we incenting him?
It is part of the contract. April the 15th is the deadline.
Okay, but why are we giving him money as an
I
incentive?
think he wants to make up for the money that he lost last year, to be honest with you. He took quite a big hit, to do that. It was over 50% of his fee got waylaid, and he was only charges half of it, so.
Is that normal? Is this a normal thing that people do in audits or auditing companies?
I couldn't say one way or the other. I know that
I'm just
I
asking.
know that deadlines for major audits, meaning companies are in the top 500 or top 100, is my experience. And they're done before the annual meeting, and that's in April.
March.
For the company that I was talking about. So they met that with no trouble. And of course, it was a year-end audit. It's a big, multi-million-dollar company, and they have many, many auditors on it, and they charge them so much, hundreds of thousands of dollars to do the audit, probably in millions. That's approved by the board, and they meet that deadline. There's never been a case where they didn't meet the deadline. So, because they needed to have that done, SEC rules says you have to have that done so much so you can have the people vote on it and things of that nature. So that's my experience. So I don't know if there's an incentive
We did
or
not
not,
have, we
but
did not have that in the past. We didn't
we've
have
not
that
had an
portion.
incentive in the
Yeah.
past. When Bill Demers did it, he was pretty much the first of the month, right? He never made
For
it.
26 years, he had it finished by the annual meeting, which is the first Tuesday of March.
Right.
It was part of the annual report every year.
Mhm.
The last 2 years that he was in business, he was, if you remember, he sold his company to someone else, and it got delayed the last 2 years.
Right.
And he was late the last 2 years, and then he said he was going to retire, so we looked for a different auditor. Now he's been late with his audits, but Timber Greens is going to have everything that he needs completed by probably January the 10th to 15th. Everything's computerized. All we do is print out reports and give to him. I don't know why it takes, and then he's got 3 months after that to give him a bonus to do it earlier than April 15th. To me is throwing money in the gutter, but that's just me. That's a long time to be able to do an audit for a corporation that's giving you everything that you possibly need. He has to do depreciation, he has to do the
Calculation of the
loans
lease.
for interest and, you know,
Yes,
take
they have
out the
copies.
principal and the interest and separate that out, and the leases and things like that, but not to take 3 months.
You might give him the information, but then he needs to confirm that. He can
Yeah.
trust, but he needs to verify all that information. That's on someone else's schedule, not Timber Green. So in other words, to verify the balance in the bank, he needs to send out a confirmation to the banks and they need to come to it. So that could take a month, it could take longer, but he can't certify without verifying the amount.
Have we done our due diligence and asked, I know we did this procedure a year or so ago and we found this gentleman, but have we looked again? Or are we just gonna?
Well, just like we did Bill Demers, as long as he's delivered, we didn't look. And I haven't looked this year, and nobody said we were totally dissatisfied, we want to look. At this late date, I don't think you're going to find an auditor to take it on. They've already got their schedule and their things and ready to do. He's willing to do it, and at a reasonable price, and so I would say let him do it. If you want to cancel the incentive part of it, I'll go back to him and ask him not to put the incentive in there, but the deadline and the thing is what we want. And if he says, well, I'm not doing the audit, I don't know what you're going to do.
I guess, how much was the incentive value?
$250 a day. That's what he said.
Jesus, come on.
$250 a day.
Stop this. They're giving money away here. It's ludicrous for what you're doing. There shouldn't be this, you hire a guy, put the audit, excuse me. I'm listening to all of you talk, and I see money just being going out the window on ridiculous things. There should be no incentive. You're gonna give him till the end of the month, If you don't think you can do the job, don't take the job. That's like me doing a job in your house. I'm gonna get you in before Christmas. Oh, you give me incentives, I get you to Thanksgiving? No, the deal is the deal. Stop giving money away, they're looking for money somewhere else.
Right, so the question really, it's not about him doing the audit for us, I guess it's the incentive part of it. So that I was just questioning. Debbie, what is your thought about the incentive? Do we need it or we don't need it?
I do not feel we should give somebody an incentive for doing their job. I would agree.
If he's a good businessman, he'll probably just come back and say, no problem, no incentive. My new fee amount is.
All right, so I guess if you go back to him, please, and erase the incentive.
All right, and if he comes back and says it's an increase in the price, like.
Then just come back to us, I guess.
I mean, that would be the proper way to do it, rather than a scale that's measurable, 250 times whatever. He's gonna say his fee's now $5,000 more.
Okay.
I know that.
All right, so let's just follow up with him on it, all right, and then we'll discuss it on Friday, okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, good. All right, is there any other new business? Steve? No? Okay, could I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes, sorry. The other night I got an email, then the next day I got a phone call, and I just want to put up front, we are totally apolitical here, but apparently in the 19th hole, there's an issue with people want CNN, MSN, Fox News, or whatever on the TVs. So I basically told the email that I would take care of it. So yesterday I told Jeff in Food and Beverage, it's a sports bar, let's just put sports on TV.
Good job.
Totally lambasted by a person that comes up here literally 7 days a week, and it's true, they do. I'm not putting any names out. And said, I spend $1,200 a month here. And I come up here every day to watch the news and have a drink at the bar, and I want this channel on. And I said, well, if that's the case, I'm not going to make that decision. It needs to go before the board because, like I said, we're apolitical. We'll do anything for anybody, anytime. But unfortunately, when it gets political, it starts conversation or fights in the 19th hole. So I thought I could solve it, but apparently I can't because I thought it was a sports bar, not a news bar. I've heard rumors that it happens in the fitness center also, that they put on certain news channels, and then other people come in and they'll either leave or wait till the person leaves and then change the channel or whatever, but there is no policy on it, so I'm not gonna make a policy without the board's approval. Not that I'm running away from it, but I understand the issue and I don't see a solution to it, so it's up to you guys.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thoughts?
So just a thought, how are you gonna control it in that fitness room when it's the people in the fitness room?
You'll have to wait till we're done talking at the end.
Yeah, when we adjourn, everybody can ask questions, I'm sorry. All right, so Mike, why don't we start with you with that?
I think it's more of a sports bar than anything, so I think it should be sports. And as far as the the exercise room, if people are quibbling over that, we do what we do for kids, take the TV away.
No, sports.
Sports?
Yeah.
Steve? Sports?
Yeah, I'm for 19th hole being sports, and as far as the exercise room, I canceled my membership, so.
Debbie? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree that it should be a sports bar, the majority, and I think we should look at the majority and not the minority. And I think it's a sports bar. And I think the majority of the people go there to watch sports.
Okay. So,
Yesterday was the sports bar, and the only complaint I had is that they couldn't watch news.
okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So,
Second.
Okay, we are officially adjourned. Questions?